Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Razovy, and today I want to talk about getting into anime. How do you do it, where do you start, that kind of stuff. It's going to be a good video, especially for the folks that are completely new to the whole thing. I'm sure that some of you that are already into it also watch this video just to see what I'm going to recommend. But yeah, just enjoy watching it. I hope you are going to enjoy it a ton. Let's get started. Now, first and foremost, this website right here, use this website. It's called anilist.co. I'll link to it. I'll link to my profile on anilist.co so that you can follow me there. By following me, you're going to get recommendations because I basically post every single day on this website. It's kind of like Twitter, but for anime fans. Plus, you can keep track of your anime and your manga. I'll show you. So for example, I have an anime list here, and it keeps track of all the stuff that I completed, as you can see over here. It also has a manga list, and yes, of course, it also keeps track of what you're reading, what you completed, all that kind of stuff. Now, besides that, and that's why this website is so freaking amazing, it has a browse feature. And in this browse feature, you can select anime or manga. I'm going to focus only on anime today, but I might actually make a video on manga too, because I just know a lot of people will be interested in that as well. So you click on anime, and then you have the trending now tab, the popular this season tab, the upcoming next season tab. We are going to forget about that one completely today, and the all-time popular one. Now, in my humble opinion, you can do two things. You can become two types of anime watchers, in my opinion. There are two. Maybe there are more, maybe some people think there are more, but in my opinion, there are two. You have the seasonal watchers, and you have the non-seasonal anime watchers. Can you be both? Yes, but most of the times, most people are only one. But you can be both. I am one of the few that is both. But you don't. I don't meet those people often. Let's put it that way. Now, what do I mean by seasonal? What do I mean by all-time popular? Because this can be a little bit confusing. Now, let's first focus on the seasonal thing. If you want to be part of the hype, if you want to talk about anime on Twitter and be part of the hype and all that kind of stuff, you want to be a seasonal anime watcher. Basically, it means that all of these anime that you're currently seeing right here, for example, Zom 100, which I highly advise you to watch, by the way, all of these are currently airing in Japan. Which means that they are new and people are currently watching them and they are enjoying them a lot. So on Twitter and basically any other social media platform, most people talk about these anime, I should say. That's the basic premise of a seasonal anime watcher. They tend to focus solely on seasonal anime and discussing that on certain platforms like YouTube, like Twitter, like Anilist, for example. So if you want to be part of the hype, you want to be a seasonal anime watcher in this case. Now, you can also go the other route, though. You can also solely focus on what you want to watch, no matter if it's a seasonal or not. In this case, I would advise you to then click on all-time popular. Like I said, I'm going to assume you're completely new to the whole thing. And if that's the case, and you don't want to be part of the hype, and you just want to watch something that is good, no matter if it's part of a seasonal or not, I would advise you to go to the all-time popular anime tab and start selecting a couple that seem interesting to you. Basically, these anime are the ones that might not be currently airing right now. Most of them are not in the all-time popular tab, but they are, as you can imagine, all-time popular. These are the ones that most people really, really love. For example, I already see one that I really, really love, which is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. This is, in my opinion, the best anime ever created. It's also the best anime I've ever watched. Of course, I hope that in the future, even better ones are created, sure, but for now, this is the best one I've ever watched. Same thing with, for example, I spotted this one too, Death Note. Absolutely wonderful. Also, Death Note is most likely available on Netflix in basically almost every single country. I'm not sure about Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, but Death Note most likely in almost every single country on Netflix. Now, Death Note is also on Crunchyroll, as you can see here. By the way, for the folks that don't know, if something is not available on Netflix and you want to watch it legally, which of course on YouTube, I have to say that you should, basically you can also watch it on Crunchyroll. But as you can see here, in my country, it is not available. So it depends on what country you are. But on Netflix, it should be there. So yeah, these are the two types of anime watcher that you can become. And yes, of course, you can do both. You can cherry pick if you want. But that's the basics of it. Now, I can imagine that you also kind of want to know where you can watch it. Like I said, Netflix is one option. Crunchyroll is another. Especially Crunchyroll for a lot of people is basically the best source of it if you want to watch it legally. Are there other ways of watching it? Yes. Can I talk about that on YouTube? No. A little tidbit about myself. I used to own a YouTube channel, not this one, but a different one, that had 47,000 subscribers, but it got deleted because I talked about websites other than Crunchyroll, and it got my channel deleted. So as you can imagine, I will not promote any of those anymore. So all I can say is watch it on Crunchyroll or Netflix. Some shows are also on Hulu as far as I know, but I don't own Hulu, so I have no freaking clue what's on there. But that's kind of like the basics of where you can watch your anime on. Do a quick look. If for some reason you want to explore the other options that I was talking about, all you gotta do is, let's say you want to watch Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't know. Let's say you want to do that. Basically, all you gotta do is, Google this, click, and then type in watch online or whatever. You'll get so many different websites. And of course, I will always advise you to only use the legal ones. That's also what YouTube expects me to say, and I will comply to the YouTube rules. But there are definitely other options out there that, of course, I would not recommend you because that is illegal. Now, this is the basic premise of how to get into anime, but there's more to it. I kind of want to give you a short explanation of how I would do it if I would start over by getting into anime. First of all, I would highly advise you to use the all-time popular tab, number 1. Why? Because seasonal anime can be very cool. It really can. But the problem is that seasonal anime tends not to give you a full completed story. So for example, let me see if I can give you, well, here, Sum 100, like I said, currently airing. I own all of the physical volumes of Sum 100. I own the manga, right? I bought those with my own money. And I know that Sum 100 is still being published. So the manga, the comic in this case, is not completed yet. That also means that the anime will not give you a completed story. Basically, at some point after 12 episodes, it'll just cut off, boom, it's done. That's it. It will not give you a completed story. I find that very annoying. Some people don't. Like I said, seasonal anime watchers don't care about that. They're perfectly content with this. They find that okay. I hate that. I hate that with a passion. I want a completed story, and you're not going to get that most of the times with seasonal animes. Are there exceptions? Yes, 100%. For example, Odd Taxi, very cool anime, by the way. It looks kind of weird for some people, but a very cool anime. Was also seasonal, yet it gave us a completed story. So, it depends, but most of the time you're not going to get a completed story. With the all-time popular tab, because these shows have aired in the past, they tend to be completed. Not all of them. For example, My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen, these are not completed. One Punch Man, these are not completed stories. So it's not always true, but Death Note, for example, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Naruto, Koe no Katachi, which is a silent voice in English. Your Lie in April, a very good anime, by the way, especially if you're new to anime. This is one of the first you should watch. Very, very good. So these give you a completed story, which is just better, in my humble opinion. If you don't care about that and you just want to be part of the hype, like I said, go for the seasonal stuff. Really, do it. But I would advise you to check whether an anime is completed. And what I mean by that is has a completed story. If it has, watch it. If it doesn't have it, for now, skip them. You're new to it anyway. All of the animes are new to you. So why would you focus on the ones that don't have a completed story? It's a waste of time. Eventually it won't be. Seasonal anime is definitely cool, and even though they won't give you a completed story, they can be very good, even if they don't have a completed story. So don't completely ignore seasonal anime. But if you're new, focus on the stuff that has a completed story. For example, I just spotted this one as well, Code Geass. This is, for real, one of the best anime I've ever watched. I love this story. It's very grand, though, but it's very cool. Now, finally, before we stop, since I'm assuming you're completely new to the whole thing, I also want to talk about sub and dub. And what I mean by that is you can either choose, for example, Demon Slayer is a wonderful example of this. You can choose to watch Demon Slayer subbed. What I mean by that is the original creators of Demon Slayer, as you can imagine, are Japanese. That's the whole thing about anime, right? It's Japanese. So the voice actors are Japanese and they speak Japanese, right? And with sub, I mean subtitles. So you can watch this with subtitles. On Crunchyroll, same thing, right? You can watch something with subtitles. But you can, if you want, also watch something with when it's dubbed in English. So that means that they got new voice actors and they recorded the whole thing in English. Now, some people love this. Fair enough. I don't. I don't hate it either. It's not like I have like I hate it or something. But I don't really care for the whole dubbed thing. I like hearing the Japanese voices. I like having that original experience in this case. But on websites like Crunchyroll and Netflix, again, I'm not sure about Hulu. I have no experience with Hulu. But on these kind of streaming websites, you can pick dubbed or subbed. Now, you have to experience this yourself. If you prefer hearing English voices, go for dubbed. And you can actually, on Crunchyroll, all of these other streaming websites, you can see, as you can see here as well, you can see whether it has a dub, yes or no. So that also might affect what anime you're gonna watch. Because if it doesn't have a dub, some people don't watch it, and that's fine. I'm not here to judge. But most anime only have sub nowadays, except for, and that's where you go back to the seasonal stuff. Except for the seasonal stuff. Seasonal stuff nowadays tends to have a dub. Why? Because it's part of the hype. And because it's part of the hype, they want people to be able to experience it in a way that they like, and that can be, in this case, in English, with English voices, right? Now, the cool thing is, if you do want to watch anime with Japanese voices but with subtitles, it doesn't necessarily have to be with English subtitles. So even though you're watching this video in English, some of you might want to watch it in Arabic or Turkish or Dutch or I don't know, Hindi, whatever. Most of the times, it depends, of course, but most of the times, especially if it's on Netflix, it'll have your native language, it will have the subtitles for your native language, right? On Crunchyroll, it depends. They tend to have German as well, and I believe Spanish, sometimes Italian and Russian, and occasionally Arabic. But something like German and French and stuff and Spanish, they tend to have. So the European languages, they definitely tend to have. And there's a reason for that, why they tend to focus on the European languages, because their audience is mainly in those regions. So it kind of makes sense that they would focus on that instead of focusing on something like, I don't know, an African language, because their audience is not there. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that kind of stuff. Anyway, that's the basics of how to get into anime. I cannot really tell you this is what you gotta watch. Some people do on YouTube, but I find that appalling. You need to figure that out for yourself. But use a website like Anilist.co to figure out what you like, and you're gonna be fine. There is so much stuff to watch out there that you will find something that you enjoy no matter what. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you liked this video. If you did, make sure to click on the like button, and do me a favor. I'm gonna leave a link to my Telegram channel in the pinned comment. Click on that, please, and join it, because I give you free anime and free manga every single day. And I do that with a passion. I cannot do it on my YouTube channel anymore, so that's why I'm now using Telegram instead. Ladies and gentlemen, I was Razovy, and you were you, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.